Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in today's video, I'd like to take you to a new Kickstarter project that's almost coming to Kickstarter. It's going to be live on March 15th, but I have gotten a sneak preview of the Kickstarter page, and it is called Maladum Dungeons of Enveron by Battle Systems from the UK. So this is a dungeon crawling game. It's a cooperative game. You can play it solo as well. It has a branching storylines, campaign driven, lots of lore behind it, and it's kind of the fantasy follow-up from their earlier game called Core Space Firstborn. And before that, they had Core Space as well. They also have a whole bunch of 3D battle terrain that you can use for RPGs, tabletop skirmish games, and those games as well. They're all compatible. So let's head over to the Kickstarter preview page and check that out. And if you want to keep a track on that page on when it actually goes live, I'll put a link in the description below. And also you can click the eye in the corner of this video, and that will take you to their pre-launch page where you can hit that notify button so you get a notification when it's actually live on Kickstarter. And also, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That really helps the channel quite a lot. Right, let's dive into the page. So as you can see here, this is the Kickstarter preview page. It's not 100% final yet, but we get to see already what the game is about. So here you can already see a really nice picture of the game in play with a bunch of miniatures. So they're gonna go for, so I've got euros here. Let's see if they're, I can't switch it to 50,000 pounds is their goal. So there's the remind me button just below the back this project button. Once it goes live, you can either pledge or hit this button, and that will remind you 2 days before the end. So you got 48 hours if you haven't pledged already at that point to decide if you still want to pledge. And you can check out how many stretch goals they have, for example. So let's scroll down a bit. So here is a mock-up of the box. It tells you a little bit about Battle Systems. I'll also put a link to their website in the description below, so you can check out their other products as well and learn a bit about this company. And I've also been to Spiel last year in Germany, where I had an interview with Colin Young. You can see his name right there. I'll also put a link in the description to that and in the corner up there of this video, so you can check out that I did an interview with Colin about battle systems, about Core Space and Maladum, and I took some nice video footage of what they had on display on their booth. That's really cool, so if you want to check that out as well, go right ahead. So what can you pledge for? Let's see. There's a retailer pledge, first of all, of course, for people who have a retail shop and would like to carry this product in their store. But I'm just going to focus on regular pledges for us backers. So there's the £79 pledge, which is a Battle Systems dungeon terrain, which I will show you in a bit. And that has a 2x2 foot map, which is about 60 by 60 centimeters. They have a neoprene mat for their boards, so you can roll that up. It's good quality, and on it you'll put your 3D terrain, and more on that in a bit. So you can grab that and use that for your tabletop skirmish games, for your RPGs, whatever you want. And it's also compatible with Core Space and Maladum itself. And it also has applicable stretch goals, so there will be stretch goals for both the game and for the dungeon terrain. Then for £99 over here, we have the actual pledge for the game, so up there. And that will get you the game itself, which is already a complete game from the start. No stretch goals to actually fill in that box. You'll get a complete game. And it says VAT is included for UK and EU backers, so that is good. That is already in the price. No surprises afterwards. You just need to add shipping, of course, which they will calculate in the Pledge Manager, which we're kind of used to by now. They do have an estimate of those prices at the bottom of the page. And of course, also with all the applicable stretch goals. There's also a combined pledge, so you can get the game itself plus that extra battle terrain, so you can make an extra big map, you can combine them, you can mix and match. There's a whole bunch of compatibility going on there, and modular terrains, so that's really cool. So we'll take a closer look at that. Here you can see a nice picture of the game set up already. So there's a bit of text here, I'll show you that. So, you know, you have this, as they say here, a highly detailed 3D board, which is included in the box. And the game is, like I said earlier, a cooperative RPG-like dungeon crawling experience, right? So you've got your team of heroes. I think there's usually 4 heroes. So you can play with up to 4 players, or you can just use them all and play solo. And every scenario will have a different setup. So you'll have a book that'll tell you how to set up the map. Because it's modular, you can build different kinds of terrain. And then afterwards, it has a branching story. So if you, depending on the outcome of the mission you play, you can choose a different direction, or the game will guide you into a different path. And that's pretty cool. So you have different ways of completing the game, which also means the replayability is pretty high because you can play again and have a completely different path. Now, probably the overarching story will probably be kind of the same, but different stuff will happen and different missions will be played. So that's kind of cool. You'll make decisions. For example, there's a town somewhere that's under attack by monsters, and you have to decide whether to help them or to go on a different kind of mission and let the town fend for themselves, but that might have repercussions in future missions. So that's pretty cool. It also tells you here that it is based on their sci-fi game Core Space, which was their previous game, and they kind of made it into a fantasy setting, which actually takes place in the future. There's a whole bunch of lore here, so that in Core Space, everything was high-tech and sci-fi, and they had nanotech, and then at some point, everything kind of, you know, disappeared. Like a post-apocalyptic kind of setting where you lose all technology, but those nanotechnology, the nanites, kind of stayed behind, and that is considered as magic. You know, whenever people can't explain what's going on, then it's magic. So you kind of get this sci-fi kind of fantasy setting that looks kind of medieval, but has all these strange different races. So what we would call elves is kind of like an alien race in Maladum. So that's pretty interesting. It has a whole bunch of lore. And let's just go down. So they'll have a link here so you can download the rules. There's already a bunch of videos out on YouTube already, and I'll put a link to a page on their own Battle Systems website where they have all of these collected, so you can already go ahead and have a look there. And once the Kickstarter is live, you can also just download the rules. Let's continue. So here you can see again a setup of the board, the way it can look. You'll have some components, you'll have miniatures, you'll have these plastic dashboards for all kinds of things here and there, plenty of tokens. And it says here as well that beyond the starter set, it is compatible with their existing fantasy terrain, and we'll take a look at that in a bit as well. So in this Kickstarter, they're also going to offer this terrain that you see right here, which is another 2x2 foot mat with all of this cardboard 3D terrain that you can build. And again, it's modular, so you can set this up any way you want. And you can add it to your pledge here as well and have a bigger map. Here you can see how it's built up, and you can of course use it for D&D or other RPG fantasy games. And they also have sci-fi terrain and all kinds of stuff. So, you can pick up some additional stuff if you would like from their website. So that looks pretty good. I also saw this at Spiel. I took some video footage of it in the interview. So if you check that out, you'll see more of that. So it's pretty cool. So we have the Kickstarter rewards here, which we already kind of covered. So that's pretty basic. You have the game, of course, with everything that is included in the box. So which is, of course, the mat, the terrain, which I already told you. We've got some miniatures here for the adventurers. So there's different ones, so you can mix and match your team. So you can have a different team every time. They have their character boards, of course. They have the plastic dashboards where you can put on these cards. We have, in this case, the Revenant adversary. So we have some undead to deal with here, and a rot troll, the Maladum, kind of looks like a necromancer. So we have those, and they have their boards as well as some wandering beasts here in a different color. And they also have their own character boards. And this is the terrain in the Maladum box. Then we have some additional cards. We have tokens in a bag. We have these plastic dashboards that you already saw. We have these pegs that you stick into these to keep track of a whole bunch of stuff, like your health and your magic. We have, of course, the books. Obviously, there's a tutorial booklet to get you started, which is nice. And already the first stretch goal is listed here. So you get an extra character once that is reached, which is 50k. And then there's the additional dungeon terrain that you can get here, which looks amazing, which costs £79. And of course, if you combine them, it's 175 for both. So you save a couple of pounds on that. And it tells you all the different pieces of terrain you have here. So you kind of just slide them into each other to build these nice looking 3D terrain pieces. So there's quite a lot in there. It looks really nice. You can build some furniture as well. Look at that. That is just really cool. And again, you can just use this with whatever tabletop game you're playing or RPG skirmish game. And it also has a mat. And there's also another 50k stretch goal, which is a prison cage. Now, I think they will have additional stretch goals. So we'll see once that is live. Here is that combined pledge for everything. And you can already see here that you can set it up as a double mat. So you can make bigger mats and just come up with your own missions, perhaps. So that's pretty cool. All right. Here is a little bit of information about the first bonus content that you'll get as a stretch goal. And they have lots of other plans. So that will be added to the Kickstarter page as they go. So they'll have to get it funded first, and then we'll see more. So here is a link, and I'll put that link in the description once again to an overview. We'll take a look at that page briefly, just scroll through it. And of course, there's plenty of videos here about the game itself. And so you got your overview and the mechanics and how to play. So there's an actual tutorial turn here, so you actually get to see how it plays before you decide, which is great. It's even in French. And that is basically it. There are some more testimonials here, some more pictures. You can, follow them on all the socials, of course. And they will have some add-ons. You can actually add the terrain that's in the box of Maladum itself if you want more of that. And it lists what that is right here. Once again, you can get separate mats as well. There's going to be translations as well. So it's going to be available in French and in Italian. So that's also pretty nice. And again, the page is not 100% complete. There's a retailer pledge, which we already saw. And here's an estimate on shipping. So VAT for Europe and UK is included, but not shipping, of course. So you can see here what more or less shipping is going to be. So yeah, that's all fantastic and clear. We'll take a look at their website here. So this is their website, battlesystems.co.uk. And they have all of these pieces of fantasy terrain here. Villages, houses, there's a townhouse, a storage barn, a tavern, a lake house, cottages, forge, monastery, watchtowers. Just look at that. It looks really cool, and I can tell you it looks really impressive on the table as well. From what I've seen, just really, really cool. So you could actually just go ahead and then see if that's anything that you're interested in, and grab some of those. They have the mats as well in 3x3 and 2x2 foot. But they also have, if I scroll all the way back up again, they have a link here with terrain, and you can see this is not just fantasy, but there's also sci-fi and urban apocalypse, which is pretty cool for your zombie games, for example, or for Core Space, you know, the previous game, which has all of these sci-fi products. So go ahead and have a look there. And here is the page, which again will link below, of the game and an overview of how it plays. So there's some text there. You can also click here to get notified for the Kickstarter page. And tells you a little bit about the game as well, what you will do, and look at that. And the game has an AI, of course, that controls all the monsters. And they will have some links here as well to other articles that they put on their page. So yeah, you can read all about it there. There's even a rules preview here already. And they talk about the dungeon terrain that will be offered here as well. All right, so that is in a nutshell what I found out about Maladum. I find it very interesting, what I gathered so far. If I want to sum it up for you, let me just return to the Kickstarter page here. So we've got cooperative play and solo play. So that's pretty cool already. It is a story-driven campaign. You have branching paths with an overarching story. So you have, you know, different playthroughs. If you play it again, you have a different outcome. There is a lot of lore to this. There's your 3D modular terrain, so you can add stuff, you can change it however you want. They have the neoprene mats instead of a board, which is pretty cool, very durable. You get the complete game from the start. Stretch goals will just add more, but the game is already fully complete from the get-go. If they fund, of course, which I'm sure they will. It's compatible with other 3D terrain, which you just saw. So it's expandable as well. The miniatures look awesome. There's going to be additional heroes that you can add to the game, so you can buy more if you want to. And as I said, there will be stretch goals as well. So all of that looks pretty exciting. If that is something that appeals to you as well, check out the Kickstarter preview page and hit that notify button. Again, link in the description below, or click the I in top of this video. So let me switch back here. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If this game sounds like something that would interest you, it sure interests me, so I'm gonna follow along with this project. So just hit the I button in the corner of this video, or the link in the description below. That'll take you to the Kickstarter launch notification page, or if it's already live, you can just go there and either hit the back this project button or the remind me, so you'll get a notification 2 days before it ends, and you can still decide if you want to hop on or not. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, thanks to Battle Systems for allowing me to already show the preview page before the Kickstarter is going live. Very much appreciated. I'm very excited about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.